Today I'm going to show you how to assemble an X57 rollout diaphragm assembly. Now, one of the things I wanted to bring to some of our older customers' attention is that there has been a change in the lower diaphragm plate. Okay, there is a threaded hole and a vent hole on the underside of the lower diaphragm plate. There's a ball bearing that goes in there, and that is used to help in an emergency situation to vent. There is a threaded hole right next to it. In the past, you used to have a split washer, a locking washer, and a socket head screw that was an Allen wrench, that you used an Allen wrench on. That is no longer the case. On the new design, you have a pan head screw that you install just with a small screwdriver. Now, the thread pitch has changed on that. So if you've got any of the lower plates in use that have a socket head black Allen wrench head screw in, you cannot use the pan head screw. We no longer carry the socket head screw, so you'd have to go to your local hardware store or something to get that screw if you do not want to replace the lower plate. Okay, if you want to replace the lower plate, we have those in stock and ready for you to get from us, and we also have the pan head screws. So if you are working on an X57, whether it's a 461 or a 441, it is really important to make sure that if you've got any kind of problem with this lower plate, that the newer plate has had a design change. So now we're going to go on with the valve assembly. As you can see, this is the stem for an X57 for a 441. You can tell the difference because this part of the stem is a bit larger than what you could get onto a valve stem for a 461. So you can see that mates well with a 441. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we put our O-ring in here. And again, if you need that O-ring, please consult your maintenance and installation. It should have that O-ring number there. So we're going to put that there. We're going to put on our lower plate. Now again, I do not have the ball bearing installed in here and the set screw at this time, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put our diaphragm on. Now, make sure that your diaphragm has the gasket paper material facing up toward the spring tower. Always make sure rubber goes to the gas. That's a good phrase. Let's try to make sure we continue doing that, okay? We're going to install our upper plate, and then we have a lock nut. Again, a nylon locking nut that goes on here. So we're going to start that. I highly recommend you use a little bit of Moly Coat. It's a very good lubricant when you're dealing with any kind of threads. It's kind of important to make sure that you do put any kind of lubricant on your threads on your diaphragm assemblies as well as your valve assemblies. So we're going to lock that into place. Now again, make sure that you leave just a little bit of space so that your bottom plate seats onto the top of that valve assembly. We're going to turn this down just a little bit just to make sure we're getting out of the way. And we're going to use a crescent wrench. Okay, and we're going to take this down. Now you're going to feel some resistance as you engage on that nylon material, but it should ease up after you've started the threads on it. Okay, so crank that down and make sure we make a good seal. And there we are engaged, and we're just going to bring that around just a little bit more. Very simple. And we have our assembly. We also have an O-ring here. Make sure you install that O-ring as well. Both O-rings are installed. Make sure that when you do install this, that you do position it into the rollout position where you fold that down, seat that in, and again, the hole on top is for your travel indicator. Okay, you've got a nice stair-step travel indicator that you need to have here. Okay, install that, and this is your valve assembly. Underneath here, again, we have a vent hole here. A ball bearing goes there. You can see where it vents here. This is in an emergency situation that it will vent. That is the basics for assembling your X57 diaphragm assembly.